Hey friends, welcome back. This is James with Ryburn Training Systems. Today we have day 4 of the Muscle Through Corona Band and Bodyweight program. Days 1, 2, and 3 are in the footnotes below. Also, the whole ebook, the whole PDF for the program is in the description below as well. Also, both are on my website. Again, this is day 4, lower body. Let's jump right to it. Alrighty, kicking off today with glutes, just like last time, because I'm willing to bet most of you could probably get a little more glute work in. So let's get started with single leg hip thrusts. Come down to a couch or anything about that same level. So for the setup wise, come to where your lower shoulder blade is touching the couch and keep your hands off. You should be able to do this without your hands. A lot of people kind of rest their hands under. You can rest them, just don't have them as the main supporters, just for balance. Now if you look at my leg, when I am on top, I'll be single leg, but just for now, notice how my leg is at a 90-degree angle or about perpendicular to the ground. That's where it should be. Now for single leg, just prop one leg up. For single leg hip thrust, it's a little different than double leg. I like to think about my body kind of hinging around my hips. So keeping my torso relatively straight, tucking my chin, and thrusting up, squeezing your glutes on top, just like that. Now this leg, the off leg, just keep it kind of stationary. Some people, go and kind of use momentum to kick it up. Don't do that, just keep it stationary where it is. And done right, you should feel all the pressure cramp right in your glutes. Yeah, even just after a few reps of that. I'm definitely feeling it. So, good. That's all it is for there. Now, these are pretty hard. A lot of times people think that just because they can double leg hip thrust, 300 pounds, they can easily single leg hip thrust body weight. Don't be fooled. I can only do maybe about 35 body weight when I can hip thrust almost near 400 pounds for reps. So don't be fooled for this. Try it out body weight. Now, if you're not at the level yet to do it from the couch, just do it from the floor. Same thing for the most part, except keep your lower leg 90 degrees or perpendicular from the ground. And then the range of motion is a little smaller because on the floor, but no big deal. Same thing here, just pop up. Just like that. As long as you're squeezing your glutes and you go into the reps in reserve, I'm going to tell you in a sec, that's all that matters. And good form, obviously. So for here, let's do 3 to 4 sets of, it's going to be about 10 to 30 reps, but more importantly, just refer to reps in reserve depending on how strong you are. So again, that's going to technical failure. These, you can really push. So really push hard on these with good form. And yeah, that's all there is for this one. Let's move on to some more glutes. One more thing I want to mention on the single leg hip thrust that I forgot to, that can help a lot of you out to kind of maximize the contraction and feeling of your glutes, is all about your foot distance from the couch. So if you're down here, and like I said, that perpendicular angle is what you want. If you're too far, your hamstrings will be a little more lengthened, a little more involved, and if your foot's too close, your quads will be a little more flexion, so it's going to be a little more involved too. So really play around with it. I said perpendicular, but it's kind of like a range. So for me, if I get anywhere out past here, my hamstring starts to take over a little more than I want to. So if I creep a little bit closer, then I'm doing well. So this is pretty individual. So do what feels best for you, but something I just want you guys to take note on to maximize the benefit of this exercise. So if you did those single leg hip thrusts right, your glutes should be feeling pretty spicy by now. Let's hit them a little harder by something that kind of stretches them out. So here, we're going to go to the stairs. All of you got stairs, right? So all you need is your body weight from here. High stair step ups. Just skip 2 steps. You could just skip 1, but the goal is to get a big stretch on the glutes, so skipping 1 stair doesn't really do it much, but 2 does. So the big thing here is form. All you're going to do, here's a good way, kind of bounce yourself with the side, and then use your front foot to step up, and then come back down. That's 1 rep. Now, it's really common for all type of step ups to bounce off the back foot, and that is not what we want here. So, a lot of people come like this, to kind of get a little bounce, and they go like that. Now, all the work is basically being done by Achilles tendon and calf, and that's definitely not the goal of glute training. So, once we're here, a good kind of cue is to kind of bend forward a little bit, put pressure forward into the heel, and just overall the whole front foot. And then just, as much as you can, minimize bouncing from the back foot, and just push yourself up with your glutes and your legs, just like that. Get a nice big stretch, lean forward, and just like that. Perfect. So it's okay to hold on to the railing or whatever, as long as you're not pulling yourself too much. So here, let's go 3 to 4 sets of refer to reps in reserve again. Reason being, because I don't know how strong you guys are. Some of you may get 5 reps, some of you may get 30. If you do go higher reps though, just make sure they're good reps. As always, I'd much rather have you doing 8 quality reps versus 20 sloppy reps. That's it for glutes. Let's move on to quads. Next up, I'm really excited for this one. This is the nastiest thing I could probably think of for an at-home workout for quads, maybe even ever. So the setup is kind of extensive. So get your bands. I have all my bands here from the whole set. If you don't have all the bands, that's okay. Just use what you have. I'll explain why that's okay later. A towel in the middle, and then I use my old college textbooks, but really anything that's about that big will work to elevate your heels. So this one's a doozy, but stick with me here. It's one big giant set. There's 4 exercises to it, all back to back to back, and that counts as one set. So let's go through each one by one. First thing is you're gonna go with the heels elevated the whole entire time. Grab your towel. Let your knees shoot past your toes a little bit. As long as your heels stay elevated, it shouldn't be a problem. And then really pull up with your quads, not with your traps or your lats. Just get here and then put as much pressure into the ground and contract your quads as hard as you can for as long as you can. Try to get around 10 to 20 seconds, should be perfect. So that's the first part of it, the towel quad iso holds. Second part is grab your bands. So here's why it's okay to, if you only have one band, that's fine. You're lucky, you're just gonna go a little higher reps. But if you got less bands, you go a little lower reps here. And then just do kind of this banded deadlift squat hybrid. Really let your knees drift past your toes to really get that quad activation. Now, if your knees are bothering you, you can stick your butt out a little more. That's fine. Do whatever works for you. So, right after that, you're gonna go into just nice deep bodyweight squats. For failure, that's part 3 to 4. Now, for part 4, if you're psycho, you can grab the towel again and finish your quads off with a nice long iso hold as long as you can. Or if you're a normal human, you can just do just bodyweight isometric hold right here. That should be plenty for most of you, but give it a try. So again, we have the towel iso holds into the banded kind of squat deadlift hybrid, into bodyweight squats, back into the iso hold, whatever one you want. Now, you're gonna notice that you can tell right now, your cardio system, your cardiovascular system is gonna be working pretty hard here. So try to let your quads be your limiting factor, not your cardio system. So just keep pushing, really get it past that mental block. And let's go, 0 to 1 reps in reserve for everything. That whole 4 rounds, or 4 exercises is one big set. Let's do 2 to 3 big sets of those, or rounds. And that should be all you need for quads. Again, this is really challenging, but we only have 2 to 3 sets, so really push yourself. It's only once a week. Really grind here, and yeah, that's all I have for this. Let's move on to the next exercise. I hope your quads are feeling good. Let's torture the hamstrings a little bit. All right, we got Nordic curls. So this can be done with a partner or a way I'm going to show you right now if you're by yourself. So I took my band anchor. If you don't have this, just MacGyver it. I took 2 belts, just like this. A towel can also work too if you kind of tie a knot at both ends. But assuming you have the belts, I put 1 in each foot, and then make sure you have a pad. You can either use a folded up towel. I have a yoga mat here, a pillow, a blanket. So just something to kind of protect your knees, elevate your body off the ground a little bit. So with these, just tuck your feet in the belts just like that. Kind of get the slack all off the belts too. So don't start with slack on bottom, just get them all nice and taut. So you're gonna be here, wrap your hands around your chest just like this. Try to have your body as straight as you can. If you lean forward a little bit, that's okay. Whatever it is though, just keep it consistent. Come here and then just go down as slow as you can, as far as you can. Fall, and then put yourself back up. These are, I safe to say, probably the hardest bodyweight exercise you can do, one of them. So I don't expect anybody to get full reps unless you're really strong. There's some people out there that can. So expect to fall. These are just the negative only. I'll show you again here. So go down as slow as you can, fall like that. And when you push up, you can kind of curl up a little bit. One thing I don't want you to do though is use your lower back to kind of help yourself up. So that's why it's good to keep it straight. So if you go here and you kind of go like that, you know, that's just not really good practice. So let's not do that. Nice and straight. And these, only those two, just lit up my hamstrings. Those will be really good for you. If you do have a partner, just have them hold your feet. But this setup again is for people that don't have a partner. For the Nordic hamstring curls, let's go 3 sets of, let's go about 6 to 12 reps on here. Reps in reserve can be a little interesting on here because, you know, everybody can always fall. But think about this. Try to have every rep kind of based off the first 1 or 2 reps as far as tempo and speed. And then once the reps start to get quicker, you start to fall faster than those first 2, then you can kind of tell you're getting done. So somewhere around 6 to 12 reps, but if you're really strong, you can go a little more if they're just negative. Now, if you're really, really strong, try putting a little more pressure when you curl up. That can kind of, you know, definitely increase the intensity of the exercise. So with all that being said, let's move on to one more hamstring exercise. Then this one will require a partner. Last thing for the hamstrings, we got partner hamstring curls. So get your partner here. Partner, lay down. So notice how Matthew is flat on the ground. He's not on his elbows or anything. That's what we want here. Put the towel around your partner's feet, or your feet in this case, wherever it's going. Now the partner is going to just curl up, and you're going to let him, but kind of fight him on the way up. So give him a big curl, Matthew. And then come all the way up, and on the way back down, make sure you fight back down too. So you should be able to get about 6 to 15 reps, each rep being like 8 to 9 out of 10 kind of intensity levels, like 8 to 9% intensity. So it should be pretty challenging. Good, just like that. One thing to note on form is he did a pretty good job. His hips, you can get up, Matthew. His hips stayed up. His hips stayed on the ground for the most part. Sometimes when people come, they kind of bring their butt up like that. Now, I don't really believe you should have your hips locked down, you know, in like a strict lock necessarily, but just for the most part, have them down so your back doesn't round too much. So, a quick note on these. After the Nordic hamstring curls, if you're not used to that much tension in your hamstrings, they're going to be pretty fricked up. So if you feel like, you know, they're about to fall off the bone, don't go too hard on these or just skip them at all. Over the weeks of doing it, you will get better and stronger and be able to do these at more set levels and more volume. So for these, let's do 3 to 4 sets of about 6 to 15 reps. Anywhere in there is fine. For reps in reserve, again, is a little tricky. So just try to go, just about 1 or 2 reps in reserve. That should work well for these. Perfect. Let's move on to the last exercise. All right. So if you remember last time we did calf raises, we did single leg or double leg. Try to do, whatever you did last time, single leg, do this time double leg or vice versa. So just a quick review for calf raises. Come over here. Take your stair. That works pretty well. Grab on, and I'm going to do single leg this time because last time I did double leg. So again, for calves, it's really important to really take your time and get a nice big stretch on each rep. So big stretch down, hold the contracted position for 1 to 2 counts, and then back down. That's 1 rep. My biggest pet peeve probably ever in the whole entire history of working out is when people kind of bounce the reps like this. That's really a way to work your Achilles tendon and a terrible way to work your calves. So nice and slow reps there. Now, we can either superset these with abs or do them separately, but to save time, you can superset just because the muscles not really affecting each other as far as fatigue-wise. So let's go into, give it a couple options here. First, just kind of a typical V-up, but I like to do a little more like a crunch V-up. So, a standard V-up is you bring your whole body up just like that. But for me, for our purposes, for a little more contraction, I like to kind of crunch up, bring your legs up, a little more controlled. So if you don't get as much off the ground with your body, upper body, that's fine, as long as you're really crunching up. So the second option for abs is banded cable crunch. So take your bands, put them to the high position. Now you can do this a couple ways. You can either stand or kneel down. Doesn't really matter. As long as you think about crunching your core down, kind of curling in, while keeping your thighs where they're at. So I'm going to kind of accordion curl down while breathing out as far as I can, and then come back up. A big mistake people make with these is they kind of curl down like this and they kind of hinge at the hips. that will just take your abs out of it and just kind of work your hip flexors and hip muscles there. So if you, again, breathe out as you come down, just think about snaking and curling down. Just like that. A good way to think about too is kind of bring your nose to your knees in that curling fashion. So you can either do those or the V-ups, doesn't matter. For the calves and the abs, again, either the V-ups or the crunches, the banded crunches, we can do 3 to 5 sets of refer to reps and reserve for reps, just because they are body weight and the kind of strength differences between you guys might be a little different. So refer to reps and reserve for those, and reps and reserve, let's go to failure or one before that. These are smaller muscles, you can push pretty hard, the recovery rate is a little faster, so that's just fine here. Alright, that's it for day 4. As a reminder, there's days 1, 2, and 3, as well as the whole ebook for the program in the footnotes below, also on the website, RyburnTrainingSystems.com. If you have any questions at all about form, exercise modifications, whatever, let me know through comments here on YouTube, through my social media, Facebook, Instagram. Lastly, I hope that I can kind of educate you guys throughout this whole entire series, so you can take some things you learned from here to the gyms when they open soon, hopefully. I had a lot of fun making these videos, but I really appreciate your feedback, so let me know what worked for you. And that's it. Hope you guys all stay safe through this corona pandemic. And as a reminder, please like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks a lot, everybody. All right. So give me some feedback on how you help you. Oh, that was okay. Alrighty. Okay. Muscle through corona, banded bodyweight. Alright. Oh, jeez. Alright. Yeah. Okay. Hey, I need to make a video. Let go. Let go.